Hi everyone, my name's Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today I'm going to show you how to recreate this card. I was inspired by a card on page 8 of the Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog, and I had to go ahead and I put my own twists on it, but I'm going to show you how to create this card. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be using the Home for Christmas Holiday Designer Series paper, and it looks like this. And we've got just such a nostalgic look at Christmas papers from the past. It kind of has a vintage feel. These have been so popular. These little reindeer can be cut out. There's music notes. Who doesn't want music notes on their Christmas cards? And then of course cute little Santas that also can be cut out. Some little cozy houses in the wintertime, and lovely poinsettias and beautiful Christmas trees and presents, and then a few pages on the back side that just have some designs that make great filler pieces on your cards. So let's go ahead and I will show you how I did this card. I started with a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock. I scored it at 4 1/4, and then all I'm going to do is fold this towards the score line, give it a little press, and then we can go ahead and we're going to glue right off the bat a piece of Designer Series paper from the Home for Christmas Designer Series paper pack. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to use a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue on the back. It does seem like kind of a shame to cover up these lovely music notes, but we can use those on another card on another day. So for today we're going to use this foliage piece on the front, and we'll go ahead and press that in. And the next step is we're going to create a frame. Let me show you the card again. This white frame is created with our Squares Collection framelets, and so you need to start off with a piece of paper. I used Whisper White, cut at 3 by 3 3/4. Then I ran it through the Big Shot machine, and I used our Squares Framelit Collection. I used the 4th largest square. You can see it's out of the set here. And what I did is I used my magnetic plate. I have my cut plate on the bottom, my paper, my square, and all I did was I tried to get the square framelit kind of centered in so that the top 3 sides have about the same size border. And then I put my second cutting plate over the top and ran it through the Big Shot machine. And so this is what I'm left with. I'm going to go ahead and remove this square piece, and that can be used on another project. Then I have this Polaroid-like frame. And so now what I'm going to do is I have a piece of, and I gave myself some room, and I'll show you why in a second, but this is 2 3/4 by 4 inches, and it's just a piece of our Home for Christmas Designer Series paper, and I want the blue piece because I'm going to be stamping over the top of that. And so using the stamp set called Home for Christmas, I am going to be taking this one here, and I'm just going to stamp that with Mossy Meadow right into kind of the center of that panel. And we'll go ahead and just get this stamped on. And you'll see in a second why I left myself some room. So one of the papers in the Home for Christmas paper pack are these cute deer. And so what I did is I took one of these deer and I just hand cut it out. It's not as hard as it looks. If you leave a little bit of a edge all the way around, you don't have to be terribly exact as you do it. So it didn't take very long at all. And then depending on the orientation of the deer, because some of the deer face this way and some of the deer face the other way, that sort of depends where I want to put my words, because the deer is going to stick into the picture a little bit. And so in this case, the deer is oriented to the right. And so when I put this in, I want to make sure that I have the orientation of the words a little more off to the right, because that will leave me some room on the left for the deer's face to kind of go into this, but not cover up all of the words. And so when I feel like I like the way that looks, and then it doesn't really matter if you stamp it crooked or straight, because you can kind of straighten it out. We're just going to flip this over, and I'm going to take a little bit of Scotch tape and just secure down the back. And I am going to do that at the top and at the bottom. And then using my Stampin' Up! Snips, I'm going to snip some of this excess tape off, and then I'm just going to go in here and trim off both edges so that it will fall underneath that frame, like so. And then I can go ahead and secure those edges with just a touch more of some Scotch tape right there, and then just a little bit over here so those are not flopping around. Then we're going to go ahead and use dimensionals, and I'm going to put 5 dimensionals on this panel. With my dimensionals in place, I can bring the card back into the picture, and we're just going to set this so that the top and the 2 sides are all about even. Actually, we're going to bring it down just a little bit, so there'll be a little bit more room on the top than on both of the sides. And then we can go ahead and we're going to add a strip of designer series paper right here. This strip of paper is 1/2 inch by 4 inches, and it's also from the Home for Christmas paper pack. And I want to do a little pennant on each end, so I'm just going to take my hexagon punch from Stampin' Up! And just do a little small punch out on each end. That gives me a little pennant on each side. And then we'll take some multi-purpose liquid glue, and we will just adhere this to the bottom of this white panel. And then it's just a matter of adding our deer. And so here's the deer, and I've gone ahead, I've put one of the dimensionals because I want to keep it right through the upper portion of the body. I don't really need dimensionals on the rest of the deer, so I am going to just I added 1 dimensional here kind of at the front of the body, and then I used a 1/2 dimensional to put the head on with. And then we don't really need it on the legs or the rest of the body. So, and he can cover up a little bit of the words, that's fine, because you will be able to see what the rest of those words say. And so we'll just press him on, and he looks so cute. But now, just to add a little more bling and to jazz up this card a little bit, we're going to use a wooden snowflake element. That's what they look like. And I'm going to put that on with a new product from Stampin' Up! And it's our fine tip glue. So I just am taking off the top, and it's got a very, very skinny little tip. And then I can just go ahead and add glue to this snowflake. And we'll just set this right here on the lower right. Now, if the deer was on the left side, or on the right side facing to the left, I would have put the snowflake on this side. Then we're going to jazz up the snowflake with some Home for Christmas enamel dots. I'm going to use the larger size dot. So I have a little strip right here, and I'm just going to pull off this Mossy Meadow dot with my paper piercing tool and set it right there over the top of the snowflake. And then we're going to add some sequins up here just to give it a little bit more jazziness. And the sequins I'm using are the metallic sequin assortment from Stampin' Up! It's on page 160 of our annual 2015-16 catalog. And now I could put those on with my fine tip glue. However, and you can see here how I'm putting this little stick right into that little fine tip, and that will keep it from clogging up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm putting on these little tiny sequins with glue dots. I find the fine tip glue pen and sequins can get a little messy because it's very hard to hold the sequin and get the glue on there and put it onto your project without some spillage. And so I've gone back to just putting my sequins on with glue dots. That just seems to work the best for me. And we'll go ahead and add another one of those little gold colored sequins up here, and then one more just down here somewhere. So we have 3. I like to do things in odd numbers. It's sort of restful for the eye. And so there is our card, and now we just need to finish off the inside of the card. So I did take the liberty of stamping this ahead of time, and I'm using a piece of Whisper white paper cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and then on the other side I added a 1/2 inch by 4 inch strip of designer series paper at the bottom. And then I just stamped my sentiment with Mossy Meadow. So now I'm going to take a little bit of snail, and then I'll adhere this to the top of my card. And the card is complete. So here's the card I've just done. Here's the card I started with. Aren't they cute? And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. Now, if you do not have a demonstrator and you are interested in seeing the holiday mini catalog and would like to have it mailed to you, please email me at stampingtoshare@gmail.com and I'll get one in the mail for you. It's a really great catalog, and it will be ending on January 4th, 2016, but you still have plenty of time to get some of the wonderful products in here and to start making some Christmas cards for the holidays. Have a wonderful day, and I do have links at my blog, which is at www.stampingtoshare.com, where you can place orders. Have a great day. Bye-bye.